Lisa with Queen Bee Creations, and welcome back to our virtual class using the Lift Me Up bundle. Today we're working on card number 3, so you want to grab the packet of materials for that card. Out of the white piece of paper, you want to die cut the hot air balloon. Out of the smaller piece, I take that back. I want to make sure you're not using the piece that goes on the interior of the card. There is another piece for that. So out of the small piece of Whisper White, you're going to die cut your balloon. And then you're going to take the designer series paper, the bigger piece of it, and we're going to just set the die cut on top of it and then trace around it. And I'm just doing the bottom basket and the upper part because really where the strings go, we don't really want any designer series paper behind that. I mean, you could, but I'm going to leave it blank. Then I'm just going to take my paper snips and I'm going to quickly snip around on the interior of that line that I drew because we want to make sure that it's going to stay inside of our die cut. So you'll cut out that piece and then the little basket piece. And then for adhering this to the intricate die, I use the Stampin' Up silicone craft mat and the mono adhesive glue. We also have the fine tip glue pen. But I love this and that it doesn't leak out. When I use the sponge and I adhere it to the back, it's only going to stick to the die cut where the sponge is touching it, and the extra glue that's going onto the silicone craft mat just washes off with soap and water. It's like super easy. So I get a nice thin layer of glue that I can then just put my designer series paper on, and there you have it. Quick and easy. I'm going to adhere the basket. Oops. And I cut it a little bit big, but that's great. We got our paper snips handy. We'll just trim it down. And there's our balloon. Now for the base of the card, I'm using our standard card base again, but I cut it slightly different. This time I took the 8.5 by 11 and I cut it in half on the 4 1/4 mark. So that this is 4 1/4 by 11 and then scored at 5 1/2. So this gives us either a side fold or a top fold, just to be a little bit different. And then I've got our, again, the interior piece is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4, as well as the pool party for the outside. And then I've got a little strip of designer series paper that is 3/4 inch by 5 1/2, or 5 1/4, and then 1 inch by 5 1/4. So we're just going to start putting our card together. Oh. We're going to stamp onto the pool party layer and to the interior of the card. So I'm going to get out my stamps. And because this little strip is going to go down the left side, I want to keep my clouds to the right. So here I've got Smoky Slate. I'll just put some random clouds, and then I'm going to add our sentiment to the bottom. So clouds kind of float around pretty random, so it's okay to let it hang off of the edge. That's why we have the paper underneath to catch the excess. And just make it look, you know, like they're floating. That's the whole idea. And then we're going to adhere this to the card base. So a little bit of snail adhesive, and we'll center that right there. For the balloon, I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals. Give that balloon a little bit of a pop. Have that float right about there. And then for the interior of the card, for the most part I want to leave it pretty blank because I want to write in my own message. But I'm going to use a little bit of Pool Party and a little bit of Pear Pizzazz and the small hot air balloon. And I'm just going to randomly stamp a couple of them. Do a few in Pear Pizzazz, and let's clean off our stamp and do a few in Pool Party. And I just love it when the inside of the card kind of mimics the outside. You know, it looks more professional to me that way. Just close up our ink pads. Oh. Add a few clouds in there. And just kind of play around with it and have fun. There's no really wrong answer on how to do all of this. You just kind of play around and stick the clouds where you think they go, and voila! There's the interior of your card. So we'll take our snail adhesive again. Place it inside the proper card. And there you have it. There's our finished card. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.